Hey there, Team WGDP. Um, Wanted to give a quick update for the customer work that we've been doing over the last sprint here. I think the most important element of the customer work that we've been driving really has been the setup of a customer research program that we're going to conduct in Zambia on site and in Nkwashi at the beginning of November. So we're working to really set up that research visit here in gosh, I guess it's like just a little bit over a month. Great progress over the last sprint here. Like the two goals that we had for driving that forward on this particular sprint were one, basically design the research plan for how we're going to spend that time when we're kind of on the ground in Zambia in November, and then two, begin to work with the team at Nkwashi and Tebe to enroll them in helping us to set up a lot of the logistics to execute that research plan. So I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen just real quickly to sort of like walk us through what that plan looks like. So give me 1 second here to get the screen sharing set up. Screen sharing button is, here it is. Share the screen, there we go. So I should be sharing my screen now. And then what I want to do is just pull up the research plan. So we're going to be in Nkwashi from November 6th to November 13th. Here's just a little overview of how we're kind of like thinking about how we'll do this research. I'll put a link, by the way, to this overview in the bottom of the video, right? But if you think about it, like over the course of the next year or the next few months, by the end of the year, right, our goals are to have a working prototype for all of the software that we're working on for Nkwashi around gate access control, around resident communications, and around payments. If we believe that like our goal through that software is to basically help Nkwashi run in a more efficient, more accountable, and more adaptable and responsive way to in terms of the way it's building its relationships with its residents, we want to go spend some time on the ground with both the people who are kind of like looking to move to Nkwashi, as well as with the team, the administrative team that's running the city, for us to just kind of improve our understanding of what those folks need, what mindset they're kind of coming to this new community with, and therefore, as we kind of like understand why like someone makes the decision to come join a new city like this one that is being built kind of as a satellite on the edge of Lusaka. If we understand why, that knowledge, that empathy for who those customers are can really guide a lot of the decisions we make on a software design perspective. If our software helps Nkwashi better do what its residents need it to be, we'll all be very successful. The plan itself is basically to go and study that in several ways. Number one, we want to spend some time doing some kind of what we call ethnographic interviews with some of the pioneering residents who are working in their way through their payment plans with Nkwashi right now. So we'll probably get maybe somewhere between six and 8 folks that we will spend a whole bunch of time, like 3 hours, really sitting with them, getting to know them, interviewing them, and of course we'll ask them about how technology might help them, have a better experience in this new city that they want to live in. But more important than that, we'll spend a lot of time just talking about who they are, what their families are like, and what it's going to be like for them to move into a new community. We also are going to do a number of other kind of research tactics while we're on the ground in Zambia, because these things can really help us begin to build a sort of like a system or a cycle of regular learning and regular customer interaction, both with the residents and guests of Nkwashi, as well as with the administrative team that's running the city. So one thing will be that we'll spend a bunch of time in the showroom that's in Lusaka for the city, just kind of observing and doing quick intercept interviews with the people who are coming through that showroom. What brought them in that day, and what is it that they're kind of like thinking through as they think about what their next home is going to be. We're also going to spend a bunch of time kind of doing interviews and ride-alongs with the staff at Nkwashi. So this is the security staff, the marketing staff, the administrative team, etc. We'll do some probably like 90-minute individual interviews with each of those folks. And then of our research team, which will be me and Nolan and a third design researcher, each of us will probably spend a whole afternoon with one of those folks, just kind of observing them, right? Like what is a day? What is a typical day in the life of each of these members of the team? It'll help us to such an nth degree to better understand what it's really like to be on this team and what they're really trying to do. And then while we're on the ground, we'll probably do two more things. One is we'll just spend a bunch of time getting to better understand Lusaka and what the surrounding community is like. Call that wide research. We'll probably spend a bunch of time in parks and restaurants and cafes just trying to understand what the community is like. Swing through some of the colleges because we know a lot of the early residents of Nkwashi are kind of a little bit on the younger side. And also probably try to spend a little bit of time getting to know some of the technology and startup community there. There's a hypothesis that some of the early residents in the community will be seeking new ways to work as well. And the more that we can kind of know what that community looks like, the better we are. And then finally, I think we're going to try to organize a co-design session, at least one, with future potential residents of Nkwashi. That way we have an opportunity to kind of sit and talk with a broader set of folks about what they're looking for in their community, and we'll kind of work with them to sketch up some new ways that our software might work to help that actually come into fruition. So that's what we're working on. We're working kind of hand in hand with the Nkwashi team to go figure out how to set this plan into motion over the next month, so that when we're on the ground in Lusaka in around November 8th, we can just be really productive and just kind of completely kind of in it to win it with on that research trip. So that's the overview. We spent a bunch of time talking with the team about how this all should go, and really excited that they're excited about helping us make it happen. One more step in being just very customer kind of oriented in the way that we're trying to build this software out. So that's the update. Drop me a line with any questions. Bye.